Commissioner Gordon, Bane has escaped.
Some learn through success, but the greatest lessons are carved into the soul through pain. It is the universal test, the fire that separates those who wish from those who do. Most people fear it, avoid it, pray to be spared from it. But those who understand its purpose welcome it like an old friend. Pain is not the enemy. It is the architect of transformation. It does not exist to break you, but to reveal you, to tear apart the parts of you that are too soft, too afraid, too unwilling to endure. It is the great sculptor, and only those who stand in its presence without running are shaped into champions. A life without pain is a life without depth. It is a surface-level existence, unchallenged, untested, fragile. Those who live seeking comfort, dodging struggle, avoiding hardship, they do not live at all. They merely drift, hollow and untouched by the fire that could have forged them into something unshakable. Pain is the hammer, and your spirit is the steel. It strikes, it bends, it reshapes. And with every blow, you become something harder, sharper, more refined. Not because you wanted it, but because you endured it. The world only respects those who have been through the storm. Champions are not crowned for what they avoid, but for what they survive. Every great figure in history was born twice, once in flesh, once in fire. They were tested, beaten, knocked to the ground. But they rose, and they did not rise the same. They rose stronger, wiser, less burdened by illusion, more prepared for the battles ahead. Pain is the great purifier, burning away weakness, leaving behind only what is necessary to conquer. There is a reason suffering precedes success, because the pain strips away the distractions. It forces you to see yourself as you are, to acknowledge the flaws, the fears, the places you once refused to look. Pain is honest. It does not lie to you. It does not flatter. It does not pretend you are more than what you have proven to be. But it also does not limit you. It hands you the tools to rebuild, to grow beyond what you were, to step into a version of yourself that you would have never met without it. No champion has ever walked an easy road. No one at the top of the mountain arrived there without scars. The difference between those who make it and those who don't is simple. One group saw pain as a sign to stop. The other saw it as a sign to keep going. Most people quit at the first sign of difficulty. They take it as proof that they are not meant for greatness. But those who understand pain do not interpret it that way. They see struggle as evidence that they are on the right path, that they are growing, that they are leaving behind the version of themselves that was too small to hold the future they are building. Pain forces commitment. It makes you decide. When everything is easy, when success comes without struggle, people take it for granted. They do not appreciate what they did not suffer for. But when you have bled for something, when you have sacrificed for it, when you have endured what others could not, that goal becomes sacred. You guard it, protect it, refuse to let go. The more pain you endure for something, the more deeply it is woven into you. Champions do not simply win, they earn. And that is why they never give up, because they have suffered too much to walk away. Most people never reach their potential because they flee from pain too soon. They feel discomfort and immediately retreat. They encounter resistance and turn around. They experience failure and assume it is final. But pain is not an ending. It is a threshold. It is the doorway between where you are and where you could be. The question is not whether you will experience it. You will. The question is whether you will run or walk through it, because beyond that pain is something greater, something bigger than you have ever known. But you will never see it if you let pain convince you to turn back. A champion is not someone who avoids suffering. A champion is someone who turns it into fuel, who looks at hardship and does not complain, does not shrink, does not break. They take the pain and they mold it into something unbreakable. Every failure is a lesson. Every setback is a test. Every scar is a reminder that they have survived. And in the end, when they stand at the top, they will know that nothing was given, nothing was easy, but everything was earned. Pain will demand a price from you. That much is guaranteed. But what most do not realize is that you get to decide what that price buys. For some, pain buys nothing. It leaves them bitter, afraid, unwilling to try again. They pay the price but receive nothing in return. But for those who use it, who transform it, who make it part of their arsenal, pain buys power. It buys wisdom. It buys a mind that does not break under pressure, a spirit that does not falter in adversity, a will that does not surrender to the weight of difficulty. Weakness does not come from a lack of potential. It comes from a lack of struggle. It is not the absence of ability, but the absence of resistance. A blade that has never been sharpened remains dull, untested, unready for battle. A body that has never been pushed remains fragile, unable to endure. A mind that has never faced adversity remains naive, easily broken by reality. People believe they are defeated because they were not born with strength, when in truth, they have never been given a reason to develop it. Strength is not inherited, it is built. And it is only built through hardship. Comfort is the greatest thief of power. It convinces people that they do not need to push, that they do not need to struggle, that they can drift through life untouched by adversity. But life does not work that way. No one is spared from hardship forever. Sooner or later, pain comes for everyone. And those who have never endured, who have never been tested, who have never had to fight for something, will find themselves defenseless when the storm arrives. They will not break because they were never meant to survive. They will break because they were never prepared to. Strength is not about how much you can lift, how fast you can move, how skilled you are. It is about how much you can endure without shattering. Those who understand the power of hardship do not avoid it. They seek it. They put themselves through suffering before the world has a chance to. They forge their own battles. They challenge their own limits. They push themselves past comfort because they know that if they do not, life will do it for them. And life will not be gentle. The fire you choose is always kinder than the fire that chooses you. The struggles you create for yourself will always prepare you better than the ones that catch you off guard. Those who are willing to embrace difficulty on their own terms will always have an advantage over those who have never faced it at all. People often mistake struggle for failure. They see hardship as a sign that they are on the wrong path. But the reality is the opposite. Struggle is proof that you are evolving. Pain is the currency of progress. Those who achieve the most are not the ones who have avoided suffering, but the ones who have endured it longest. The reason most people never reach their potential is not because they are incapable, but because they turn back at the first sign of difficulty. They assume that if something is hard, it means they are not meant for it. But the truth is, if something is hard, it means it's working. Growth is never comfortable. Strength is not built in the moments of ease, but in the moments of exhaustion. When the body wants to quit, when the mind is screaming for relief, when every part of you begs to stop, that is where transformation happens. Those who endure those moments are the ones who rise above the rest. They understand that pain is not an enemy but a mentor, that hardship is not a punishment but a necessary process. There is no shortcut, no alternative, no way around it. You do not gain power by waiting for it. You gain power by walking straight through the fire. The greatest tragedy is not being born without strength. The greatest tragedy is having the potential for it, but never being tested. A lion raised in captivity will never know the depths of its power. A warrior who has never fought will never know the extent of their resilience. The absence of hardship is the absence of proof. And without proof, all potential is wasted. People walk through life believing they are fragile, believing they are not capable, believing they are not meant for more, simply because they have never had to find out. True champions are not those who were gifted from the start. They are those who suffered enough to become unshakable. They are those who have tasted pain so often that it no longer scares them. They are those who have been beaten down so many times that they have forgotten how to stay down. They are the ones who have had every reason to quit, but refused. And that refusal, that defiance in the face of hardship, is what turns ordinary people into legends. The world is designed to break those who are not prepared. There is no mercy for those who are soft, no safety for those who refuse to evolve. Life will push, it will test, it will demand everything you have. And if you have not built yourself for that moment, you will crumble under the weight of it. But if you have trained yourself, if you have suffered by choice, if you have embraced hardship rather than avoided it, then there is nothing life can throw at you that you cannot handle. Those who win are not those who have avoided struggle, but those who have been made unbreakable by it. Pain is not something to fear. It is something to use. It is the most honest thing in the world. It does not lie. It does not flatter. It does not tell you what you want to hear. It shows you exactly who you are. The modern world has mastered the art of comfort. Every inconvenience has been erased. Every struggle has been numbed. Every moment of discomfort has been replaced with instant gratification. If you are hungry, food is at your doorstep. If you are bored, entertainment is in your pocket. If you are lonely, validation is a click away. Life has never been easier, but here's the cost. Adaptation has stopped. The human mind, the human body, the human spirit, they were designed to endure, to suffer, to overcome. And when you remove hardship, you remove growth. When you remove resistance, you remove the need to push. When you remove struggle, you remove strength. The world has given people every reason to avoid pain, and in doing so, it has robbed them of their potential. Pain is the trigger for transformation. It is the signal to your body, your mind, your soul that something needs to change. When you lift heavy, your muscles tear so they can rebuild. When you push past exhaustion, your endurance increases. When you face adversity, your mind rewires itself to handle pressure. Every improvement, every adaptation, every evolution is the direct result of discomfort. But when you never allow yourself to feel that discomfort, when you constantly shield yourself from hardship, you remain exactly as you are, The body atrophies, the mind dulls, the will weakens, and the worst part, you never even realize it's happening. Because comfort does not warn you, it sedates you. This is why people today feel lost, restless, unsatisfied. They have everything they need, yet they feel like something is missing. They chase distractions, addictions, entertainment, always searching for something to fill the emptiness. But the truth is, what they are missing is the struggle, the fire, the adversity that forces them to adapt, to grow, to become more than they were yesterday. Without pain, life becomes weightless, drifting, pointless, without meaning. The greatest paradox of the modern world is that by eliminating hardship, it has created more suffering. People are not happier. They're more anxious, more fragile, more disconnected from themselves than ever before. The old world did not have this problem. Pain was mandatory. If you wanted food, you had to hunt. If you wanted warmth, you had to build a fire. If you wanted survival, you had to fight for it. There was no choice, no easy route, no way to escape the reality of struggle. And because of that, people were durable. They were self-reliant. They did not expect life to be easy, so they did not break when it was hard. They were forced to adapt, forced to push, forced to become stronger than their circumstances. The modern world has removed that necessity, but strength that is not required is never developed. Now, people fear pain like it is the enemy. They treat it as something to be avoided at all costs. But pain is not the enemy. It is the price of progress. The only way to become better is to suffer for it. No champion has ever been made in comfort. No warrior has ever been built on convenience. No legend has ever been forged without struggle. The very act of avoiding pain guarantees mediocrity. And the greatest tragedy is that most people will never realize this. They will live their entire lives avoiding discomfort, never understanding that discomfort was the only thing that could have made them great. The solution is simple, but not easy. You must seek out pain before life forces it upon you. You must put yourself through hardship, not because you enjoy suffering, but because suffering is the only path to strength. Train your body to endure. Train your mind to resist. Train your will to push beyond the point where others stop. Every time you embrace discomfort, you grow. Every time you reject ease, you evolve. Every time you refuse to take the shortcut, you separate yourself from the millions who do. And that is where champions are made. In the quiet moments where you choose pain over comfort. Most people will never do this. They will choose the path of least resistance, believing it will make their lives easier. But what they fail to see is that by avoiding pain now, they are guaranteeing pain later. The body that is never tested will fail when it matters most. The mind that is never challenged will collapse under pressure. The will that is never exercised will surrender the moment it meets real adversity. There is no escaping hardship. It simply accumulates until you are no longer capable of handling it. And when that day comes, it will crush you. This is why discipline is the highest form of freedom. It is the choice to suffer on your own terms, to grow before you are forced to harden yourself while the world tells you to soften. It is the realization that pain is inevitable, but whether it breaks you or builds you is your decision. Those who understand this principle do not wait for hardship to find them. They go looking for it. There is a razor-thin line between frustration and mastery. between anxiety and boredom, between suffering and growth. That line is where champions are made. It is the place where struggle transforms into flow, where effort is rewarded with presence, where pain is no longer something to be endured, but something to be wielded. Most people never find this place. They live either too far from it or just beneath it. Some take on too much and drown in the weight of their own ambition. Others take on too little and wither in the absence of challenge. But those who live at the edge, where effort is met with just enough resistance to demand their best, those are the ones who thrive. There is a reason the greatest athletes, artists, and minds describe their craft as something beyond them. A boxer locked in the perfect exchange of punches and counters does not think, he reacts. A musician lost in the composition of a masterpiece does not plan, she flows. A writer, pulling words from the depths of his mind, does not analyze, he creates. These moments are not passive. They are not easy. They exist at the threshold of effort, where the task is neither impossible nor effortless, where it demands just enough from the individual to pull them into a state where time disappears, where the world outside the challenge fades into irrelevance. But this state is not something given. It is something earned. It requires the right balance of skill and struggle, knowledge and resistance. If the challenge is too great, the mind is overwhelmed, drowning in uncertainty, paralyzed by the sheer impossibility of the task. If the challenge is too little, the mind disengages, numbed by repetition, uninterested in the trivial nature of the effort. But when the challenge is just beyond reach, when the hands, the mind, the body are forced to stretch towards something slightly greater than what they have known, adaptation begins. Growth becomes inevitable, and the process itself becomes the reward. This is why those who seek comfort never find purpose. Comfort is the absence of challenge, the absence of demand, the absence of friction. It is a life spent idling, where nothing is too difficult, but nothing is meaningful either. And in that emptiness, the mind deteriorates, the body atrophies, the spirit dulls. But struggle, when calibrated correctly, does the opposite. It sharpens, it elevates, it refines. The fighter who steps into the ring against a worthy opponent leaves better, whether he wins or loses. The artist who stretches beyond her limits creates something she did not know was inside her. The entrepreneur who risks everything on an idea finds out what he is truly capable of. This is the secret to fulfillment. Not pleasure, not ease, not leisure, but the pursuit of difficulty at the right level, at the right intensity, in the right direction. When life is devoid of challenge, it is devoid of meaning. A life without friction is a life without transformation. And transformation is the essence of existence. To move, to evolve, to refine, to push beyond what you were yesterday. This is what separates those who live from those who merely exist. The mind was built for challenge. It craves puzzles, obstacles, problems to solve. The body was built for movement, for endurance, for the grind of effort against resistance. The spirit was built for resilience, for suffering followed by triumph, for struggle followed by mastery. When all three align, when body, mind, and spirit are engaged at the edge of their ability, something rare happens. A person becomes fully alive. Not distracted, not escaping, not waiting, but fully immersed in the fight, in the art, in the moment that demands all of them. The world is filled with people who have numbed themselves to life. who have settled into routine, who have traded challenge for comfort, who have mistaken boredom for peace. But the greats, the ones who achieve, who push, who create, do not see difficulty as something to be avoided. They see it as something to be sought out, not recklessly, not blindly, but with precision. They do not take on challenges too large to break them, nor do they lower themselves to struggles beneath them. They find the perfect fight, the one that forces them to stretch, to focus, to grow, and they fill their lives with as many of these battles as they can. Some call it flow, some call it purpose, some call it obsession. But whatever name it takes, the truth remains. Those who live on the edge of their abilities are the ones who understand what it means to truly live. They wake up knowing that the day ahead will demand their best, and they welcome it. They do not seek distractions, because the challenge itself is engaging enough. They do not seek shortcuts, because the process itself is the reward. They are not waiting for life to happen to them. They are the ones happening to life instead.